Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
I'm Chris Ferzoco, and we're talking market statistics. Imagine that, and these are actually our favorite videos.
Yeah, these are our
favorite. But we're talking market statistics, and we're going to compare the first quarter of 2025 versus the first quarter of 2024. And today we're going to look at what we always seem to look at. We're going to look at the overall value of properties.
Okay.
We're going to look at the number of properties that sold, number of properties that came on the market, and we're going to look at the overall sale price versus the list price of properties as well. Comparison from one year to the other. Is it truly the picture that we see or people are talking about?
Absolutely, Chris. Hey, and if you like what you hear, you like what you're seeing, please subscribe below, tap that bell for instant notifications, and please hit the like button so you'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information, of course, happenings that we have down here at the Jersey Shore. No, not that Jersey Shore, our Jersey Shore, Ventnor Market, Longport, Ocean City, Strathmere, Somers Point, then we're going to Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, sorry about that, West Wildwood, Cape May, North Cape May, Upper Township, Lower Township, Middle Township, and Cape May Courthouse. Wow, I was just all over the place there.
Yeah.
But Chris, we're going to talk about market statistics here. We're going to do first quarter versus first quarter 2024, 2025. Let's get us started in Ocean City and talk about it.
All right, Ocean City. So Ocean City had a 7% growth from 2004 to 2025. Real good positive sign there. We talked about this in one of the other videos. We really felt that the first half of the last year was really strong.
Okay.
So actually to see that growth this quarter versus last year's quarter was really interesting to me based upon the rest of the statistics that we're going to be looking at. Okay. So Ocean City up 7% at 1.5 million from 1.4 million. As for the number of properties that sold, we actually saw an 18.5% decrease. So we actually went from 134 down to 109 properties selling in 2005 in the 2025 in the first quarter. Now, as for the number of properties that came on the market, this was a great thing to see, 13.3% increase. So we went from a total of 299 to 339. So that's good to see more properties coming on the market quarter over quarter. So that's a good sign there. And as for the overall sale price versus list price in Ocean City, actually the exact same amount, 95.5%, Joe. So right now that's remaining the same, although we did see a bump up in the overall value of property here in Ocean City. Now for Sea Isle City, actually had a little bit of a different outlook than we saw in Ocean City. Sea Isle actually dropped 8%. It actually went from 1.68 down to 1.54. So that's a slight decrease there, about 8%. Something we'll monitor obviously in the second quarter.
Right.
As for the number of properties that sold, we saw a 17.5% decrease. So much like Ocean City, we went from 34 down to 28. So Sea Isle also saw a decrease in the number sold. As for the number of actives, this was interesting. Sea Isle saw a decrease of 16%. We had 56 on in the first quarter last year. We only had 47 come on the market this year in Sea Isle. So that's the first time I've seen, Joe, really in any of the time where it was a negative across the board in those three categories.
Wow. Yeah.
So just something going to be interesting to watch with Sea Isle. Is this a trend, or is it just something that more people are waiting to, the old dynamics, more people come on the market in the second quarter, or more buyers, etc.
Yep, spring market, yeah.
Yep, overall values did increase to 98% from 95% this quarter versus last year. So again, that's a positive sign because you're starting, although your price dropped 8%, you are starting 3% higher than you did last quarter. So it's not washing out, but it's comparable for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, let's move down a little bit there, Chris, onto the Parkway. We're going to go into the Wildwoods now. Yep. The couple of things that I did start to notice as we were doing this year compared to last year was actually one of the first times, and we're going to see this really when we do our February versus March versus February, that I was seeing a decrease almost across the board in the 7 or 8 property towns in the lower half of Cape May County, where there was a decrease in your sale price in all of them, as opposed to like maybe just one or two, depending on what's selling and things like that. So again, this will be something that we'll really have to start to pay attention to as we start to, forge ourselves through the spring market here. So, and to North Wildwood. So the first quarter of 2025, your average sale price was down 8% compared to last year's first quarter. 614,000 was your average sale price this year, 671 last year. Number of properties that closed, that was down 14%. We had 43 transactions in the first quarter. And then the number of properties that came on the market, that was also down 8%. We only had 96 come on the market in the first quarter in North Wildwood this year. So again, much like Sea Isle City, down in all three categories when we're looking at this. Your average sale price, list price to sale price was sitting right around 95%. Let's go into the Wildwoods. And again, your average sale price was down 13%. Average sale price was $619,000 in the first quarter this year compared to $711,000 last year. Number of properties that's closed was down 25%. We only had 49 properties sell in the first quarter this year. We had 95 properties come onto the market, which was also down 8% compared to last year. List price to sale price, they were still the same, 96, 97%. But folks, it also works the other way. When we always talk about, hey, but I'd rather start here. Yeah, you were 96, 97%, the same as the first quarter last year, but you started $100,000 less. So,
Ouch.
Yeah, it does work both ways there. Moving into Wildwood Crest, your average sale price was down 14%. $574,000 was your average sale price in the first quarter this year, compared to $670 the year before. 28% decrease in the number of properties that closed. We're sitting at 26. As far as the number of properties that came on the market, that was pretty steady compared, year to first quarter. 62 came onto the market in the first quarter in 24. First 62 came on the first quarter of 25. And jumping down into Cape May, Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach area. Let's go into Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach. Average sale price was up 9%. $854,000 was your average sale price. Number of properties that sold was up 37% to 8 transactions, and the number of properties that listed was down 23%. We only had 10 come on the market. We had 13 come on the market in the first quarter in 24. So yeah, it's a 23% drop, but only 3 less on that. Moving into Cape May, this was one of the few areas where we did see increases in the sale price. Actually, Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach, and Cape May were the only two out of the 7 or 8 counties that we cover in the lower half that had an increase in their sale price in the first quarter. So again, we'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
So Cape May was 37% increase, big number there. 37% increase, went from $986,000 in the first quarter of 2024 to $1.57 million in the first quarter of 2025. So yeah, big jump there. Number of transactions, that was up 47%. We had 19 transactions in the first quarter. Number of properties that came on the market, that was down 24%. We only had 19 properties come on the market. So again, something we're going to watch now. Your average list price to sale price, that was only 92% in Cape May. Now again, you were starting at 1.69 as opposed to 1.1. So, it's a $500,000 difference. So again, like North Wildwood, I know where I'd rather start. But again, some trends here that we're going to have to start to pay attention to see if in fact these are stuff that are going to become trends.
For sure, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Joe, when you go into the primary home market, when you look at like Upper Township, there was a significant increase there. I mean, percentage-wise, it's off the charts, but it went from like 316 to 827,000. That could simply just be that there were some high-end properties that sold. There's a lot of new construction going on in Upper Township that could be driving that number. So just kind of going to focus on the number with that. So again, right now, average about 827,000 in Upper Township. As for the number of properties that sold, though, we actually saw a 39% decrease in the number of properties that sold in the first quarter versus first quarter of 2024. We went from 38 to 23. And in one of our other videos, we talked about the fact, well, it was the end of the year, you got the holidays, so on and so forth, you got winter. Okay, this was a colder winter than it was last year, but really 39% colder in that regards.
Right.
So when you kind of look at that, it's like, this is something that really we need to be paying attention to. Sellers, you're on alert. Listen to this video. Go back and watch it again. If you're considering selling, the key word to this entire video has been down.
Yeah.
Down, 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 down. Joe and I haven't said down this many times in a video in probably 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So if you're considering selling and have been putting it off and biding your time and seeing what's going to happen, you may be missing some dollars and cents at the end of the day here because you're waiting and you're going to miss the greatest opportunity. All right, I digress. So I'm going to move on here to the number of properties that came on the market in Upper Township. Same amount actually as first quarter of 24 as it was in 25. We had 61 properties come on the market. Overall sale price to list price, we actually saw a 4.5% decrease in that overall sale price to list price down to 93.5%.
Okay.
Summers Point, Atlantic County. We actually saw a 2.3% increase in Summers Point over 2024. It's now up to 434,000 in the first quarter over 424, which is first quarter 24. Number of properties that's actually sold, we actually saw a 39% decrease. So just like Upper Township, 39% decrease. We went from 41 down to 25. And the number of properties that came on the market, we saw a 23% increase, which is a great sign. That means more inventory. Went from 61 to 75 in that first quarter. And your overall sale price versus list price was up 5%. You're getting 100% of the sale price in the first quarter this year in Summers Point.
Yep, 100%. And
Yep.
we talked about that when we did the first quarter compared to the fourth quarter,
Right.
where it was like, oh, we're sitting here shooting holes in the 97 list price to sale price. Summers Point was the only one
time.
in all of the towns in Atlantic and Cape May County where it was at that 100% list price to sale price. So let's move it back down. Staying offshore, Chris, we're going to do move in the North Cape May. And again, first quarter compared to first quarter of 2024. In 2025, your average sale price was down 7%. 487,000 was your average sale price in the first quarter for North Cape May. Number of properties that closed, that was actually up 26%. We had 23 transactions. And again, folks, we always have to pay attention to the percentages. We had 17 in the first quarter of 2024, 23. So we had 6 more transactions in 2025 as 2024. Number of properties, though, that come on the market, that was the same. We had 36. So not really a shift in any dynamic when it comes to the inventory. Your list price to sale price, again, pretty solid, 97% in each quarter.
Yep.
But again, you're starting $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 less in 2025 than you were in 2024. Let's move finally into Cape May Courthouse. Your average sale price was pretty much the same, $418,000 in 25 first quarter, $420,000 2024 first quarter. Number of transactions that sold in the first quarter of 2024 was 31. Number of transactions that sold in 2025 was 31. Identical. Number of properties that came on the market was up 13%. We had 61 properties come onto the market in 2025 first quarter as opposed to 53. The one thing where the list price to sale price comes into effect is when it is the same sale price in the first quarter of 24 and 2025.
Right.
But your list price to sale price was 94% as opposed to 98% in 2024. So, again, something to keep an eye on there. Of course, I think the one thing that will, to your point, as you said a couple minutes ago, we were saying the word down, or the same. There's not increase. I think the one thing that we'll probably do for our viewers here over the next couple of months, especially as we're going through the spring market, we'll start comparing April, April's next month. So we'll do April versus March. We always do, this month compared to the previous month. But we'll do April of 25 and compare it to April 24. We'll do May 25, compare it to May 24. So we can really start to see if there's any sort of, are there patterns that are here? Are these just trends? Are they one-offs? We do talk about that a lot too, with the one-offs where all of a sudden, you got 2-3 new constructions in Seattle that sell at $2 million and the average sale price is $2 million.
Sure.
And then you've got a couple of, 2-bedroom condos that are selling at $800,000, and now there's a $1.4 million difference in the sale price.
Yeah.
So yes, that does happen.
Yep.
We certainly recognize that, but I think if we start doing that, let's start comparing some months to months and see if there's any validity here with seeing the number of down arrows that we have on our charts when it comes to sale price.
Yep.
I think that was very startling to me when we were looking at this, as we were getting ready for these videos for the first quarter, year to year, compared it to last year. I couldn't believe how many down arrows I saw when it came to sale prices for a consistent amount of months, not just, again, the one-offs. It was a quarter.
Yep, and the number of towns.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. And so, definitely something to monitor, Joe, and that's, again, it's something to pay attention to. And it's one of those dynamics which we'll get into maybe in another video here and talk about the fact that the rates haven't dropped significantly, but the number of properties coming on the market hasn't gone up significantly, and the values seem to be dropping. So now all of a sudden it's like, where's the market headed?
Yeah.
So that might be something that maybe we'll do some individual videos off of and talking about the effects of the rates and the inventories and stuff like that, not just using the statistical numbers here, but talking about this is what's happening. What can you anticipate? Because real estate it's not instantaneous.
Right.
Some of these things will take they take time to gain momentum, good or bad.
Yes.
So it's what are we anticipating, and that's certainly something we can get let our clients know about. But when you hear all these down arrows, down, if you're a seller, you need to pay attention. You got to watch that. As a buyer, you might be like, yeah, prices are coming down, but wait a minute, is the overall sale price and list price higher? And now all of a sudden, you're still paying a fair amount.
Yes.
Okay. And with low inventory buyers, always remember that means a lot of buyers are out there waiting for that perfect property. You're not the only one.
Yes.
Which means you could get yourself into a bidding war situation, which, as of this video, we just had one. that, they're still out there too because of low inventory.
Sure thing.
So you could end up overpaying just because you're trying to find the perfect property just like everybody else.
Absolutely,
Yep.
Chris. And it does become specific, to your property as well, which will lead me to, if you are looking to sell and you're interested in a market analysis, an equity update for your specific property, that, your location, the type you've done, maybe, any upgrades and all that kind of stuff that you've done to your property, please reach out to Chris or myself. Give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. And again, whether you're looking to do it next week, next month, 6 months from now, or a year from now, we want to be your real estate resource. We want to be able to keep you in contact, keep your finger on the pulse of the market for your specific town, for your specific type of property, so that when you're ready to sell, we can make that happen for you and you're getting the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time. Buyers, if you're looking to purchase, please, again, reach out to us. Drop onto our website. Reach out to us, through any of our affiliates at Zillow or Realtor.com or anything like that. We'll be certain to make sure that when these properties are hitting the market, when they're dropping in price, when their status changes, maybe it falls apart and comes back onto the market, you're going to get that property right away. So we're putting you in the best position possible to make sure that you possess and you get that property that you're looking for down here. The Ferzoco Group is not just Chris and myself. We've got a fantastic team that's working out there to make sure that we're satisfying both buyers and sellers in this marketplace. So again, he's Chris, I'm Joe, and until next time, we'll see you at the beach.